All right, this afternoon I want to talk about the question of when does an amateur or a non-professional have a right to call themselves a citizen journalist? In other words, who has a right to call themselves a journalist in general? When they want to sort of stay aside from society and be objective and do critical thinking and show they can do it, and sort of maybe not have to be part of the mob. When does somebody have a right to do that? I have a blog posting about that. I'll give a link to it. First of all, let me just suggest there used to be back in the early 1950s, there used to be a game called Star Reporter, and we used to play where you got points as you went around the geography map of a fictitious company for finding new stories. And in fact, my own journalism started, of course, with my first book, The Do Ask Do Tell, A Gay Conservative Lashes Back. I put it online after about a year, and I started going into other issues besides gays in the military, because that particular issue tended to link up to a lot of other issues about individual rights and responsibilities, and then the welfare of groups in an unusual way. It kind of stuck to a lot of other issues. So a lot of, although most of my writing, and I developed a number of blogs and sites over the years, up to 20 of them, and I can't stop most of them at the end of 2021. We'll get to that in a minute. But a lot of them were commentary about a lot of subjects, but occasionally I would do original reporting, because I would stumble on things, and occasionally I would originally stumble on a few stories, like in New York City in 2016, I happened to be on the scene when, or near the scene of a terror attack. I wasn't hurt by it, but I took a lot of pictures around the area, and sent some of them to a television station in Washington, D.C., and a couple of them were showing on the air, original reporting. So that was back in 2016. So sometimes I do cover original things. Sometimes I'm the only person around at a particular protest or something, so I have done that. There's the issue of my own viewpoint access, which is that of individual rights, mediated somewhat by the fact that we don't get to choose everything in life, and there is a community good which presumes the stability of liberalism, or ordered liberalism in a sense. That's something I'll get back to soon, because that's become a lot less stable in recent years because of all the inequity and all the other developments around the world, and COVID and Putin and all kinds of other things. With the internet in 1997, that was about the first time we suddenly had the ability to self-publish for almost nothing and be found by search engine and have our ideas actually found almost anywhere in the world, and actually spread our thinking. And a lot of times with very little skill and very little cost, we could have our ideas known even if we weren't known. That would change with algorithms and social media sites as the years progressed. But I kind of built a second career in retirement on doing things that way. I did have money saved up, and I did have a trust, although I have to be careful how I manage things. I have to only use the money that's really mine, but I'm able to do that. That would make some of my own activity seem gratuitous, and perhaps in bad faith. Perhaps I would be seen as interfering, competing with people who have real jobs and who have to make a living in journalism. I would say I'm keeping them honest by connecting the dots, that maybe they overlook, or don't see are interrelated. But I think I do something important. But it might be seen as gratuitous. It might be seen as drawing a risk to others. It might be associated with the stochastic terrorism idea, or bringing a risk to other people who know you, or the workplace, creating a conflict of interest. And It also might be seen as interfering with necessary activism by groups. Sometimes you should take sides. Sometimes you should be in a crowd marching and protesting yourself and not get off your high horse and not think you're above having to be part of a crowd, part of be counted against something, and not pretend that you're an alien, orbiting around the earth, just observing it and changing things that you observe, like in relativity. And sometimes you have to actually participate and have your skin in the game. I was concerned starting about in 2018 about the fact that Section 230 would eventually go away or be changed a lot. There's a case before the Supreme Court this year that'll be heard on February 21st. That could eventually mean that social media, in particular hosts, might not want to host gratuitous speech like mine. I was very concerned about that. So I cut down the number of blogs and kind of made a promise that the number of blogs, and some of them had been up for 16 years, would stop at the end of 2021. And I only have one now, essentially in my own legal name. And so I greatly scaled it back, and I'm trying to work on actually getting the books possibly into film or other kind of video, and maybe developing new content that could be published in a regular way, or maybe some music. But that's the other side of it.